A very good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you all back to my channel, TRDK. As you all know, the main aim of this channel is to guide all the medical professionals and the skilled professionals who would like to consider other countries as opportunity to work and acquire education from, etc. Now, anyone who's interested in Denmark for anything, whether it's a job, whether it's authorization, and especially when it's student visas, this is the video you really need to watch. Now, stay till the end because we have a lot of interesting policies to talk about. Okay guys, so when it comes to Denmark, one of the hot topics is student visas, which are now being spoken about a lot. So we're going to talk a lot about that, and then of course it's connected to other visas, authorization, etc. Now in general, when it comes to student visas, in my previous videos as well, I have always encouraged people to come on student visa to Denmark, whether it's a bachelor, whether it's a master's. If you come on student visa, you get a longer visa, you get work permits so that you can very easily work here. And most importantly, after that, there are very high chances of getting a job. Now, after May 2025, things have changed. Now, this is extremely important to know because it is going to be a huge disaster for anyone who does not know about these new policies and still comes to Denmark. First, before talking about the policies, let's talk about why did the government change the policies. Now, in general, the policies of student visa were, number one, you get approximately a 5-year visa. Pretty good, long visa. Number two, you get a work permit, so you can easily work with your university. So it's very easy to financially support yourself and it's enough money to enjoy. Now, thirdly, you can also bring your family members here. So if you have a spouse, children, you can always bring them here. And the children can, of course, enjoy the free education, healthcare, etc. And so can you. But now things have changed. Now, before I talk about the new policies, let's talk about why did the government do that? Now, according to numerous articles and my research, so basically what has happened is that along the years, there were many universities that opened in Denmark. Now, there are some state-approved universities and some international universities. The non-state approved, I can kind of call them international so that it's easier. Like, for example, any university franchise in England opened here in Denmark, for example. So these are the international universities. But they are not state-approved. Now, of course, it's legal to get a degree from there. The degree is recognized, but it's not a state university. We're going to talk about state universities versus non-state universities very soon. So here goes. Now, basically what happens is that over the years, from non-EU countries or other countries, Middle East, etc., many students came here. But what happened is that due to the increase in the non-state universities, it was easier to get admission in them. So many foreigners came to these universities, especially from the non-European countries. When they came here, what happened was that they started working a bit too much more than the required amount. In order to, of course, earn money, they actually neglected education and started working. They started being absent from universities, the attendance was almost zero because they preferred work over education. What happened here is that caused a disbalance in the work market. Because many of the foreign citizens or many of the non-Europeans, what they did was that they agreed to work on a lower salary or at a lower wage. So when they did, over time, working at a lower wage, of course, that caused a disbalance because then companies, organizations, or even odd jobs would, of course, prefer them over the others because, of course, it would help them cut corners as well. So because of this disbalance, obviously they started getting hired more. Now, because of this thing, of course, there was a disbalance in the market, and of course the education was getting compromised as well because they noticed that these students did not go to university as much as they should. The government has also mentioned in the article some of the nationalities, which I'm not going to mention right now. So now this is the reason why the government changes policies to a lot harsher policies from May 2025. Now let's talk about the new policies. Number one. If you get into a state-approved university, your rules are more or less the same. You will get a work permit. You can call your family, etc. So it's more or less the same. But on the contrary, if you go to a non-state university, which are the international universities, so number one, you're not going to get a work permit. So if you come here for a non-state university for 3 years, you cannot work. So you have to bring finances from your country. Now, if you're from a non-European country and you come to Denmark, bringing all the money from the non-European country, of course, due to the currency difference, it's going to be extremely expensive, almost impossible. I don't think anybody can survive bringing the money from a non-European country to a European country due to the currency difference, especially from obviously non-EU, South Asia, Middle East, etc. Second, you cannot bring family members anymore. So if you're in a non-state university, you can't bring family members. So you have to come alone for 2-3 years, and you have. Most importantly, they check the attendance very fiercely. So if your attendance is not up to the mark, you can very easily be thrown out. So recap, if you go in a non-state university, number one, no work permit. You have to bring in money from your country. Number two, no spouse, no child. You cannot bring a sponsor with you. You cannot sponsor your family member with you. So nobody can come with you. And thirdly, the attendance is very important. But this is all for non-state universities. So in state universities, you're going to get most of the perks back. So my advice here is that if you apply, please apply to state-approved universities. Yes, I do know it's difficult for non-Europeans to get admission. It's not that easy, but still it's much better than to apply for the non-state universities. Now, these are some of the state universities mentioned, and I really recommend you to please apply here if you want to come to Denmark. Now, if you have any questions, please message me on my Instagram, TRDK, and I will try my level best to reply to you as soon as possible. I'm sorry for the delay. I get approximately 100 messages on Instagram every day. It's very difficult for me to reply very quick, but I will try my best to reply as soon as I can. And the next topic I'm going to talk about in my next video is actually the accommodation situation in Denmark, because everybody's talking about it. The dentists, the doctors who come on authorization, the students, they can't find proper accommodations and they get scammed a lot. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks in my next video talking about how to find good accommodation in Denmark without getting scammed. Stay tuned and I'll see you soon. Thank you very much.